all of the desks were gone. One day in September of 2005, high school students in Little Rock, Arkansas went into their social studies class with teacher Martha Cothran. There were no school desks. The children obviously asked, where are they? The teacher said, you can't have a desk to sit at until you tell me what you have done to earn the right to sit at that desk. One student said, my grades? No. Another student offered our good behavior. Again, no. This repeated through first period, second period, third period. By now, word has gotten out, and TV news cameras showed up to see this crazy teacher who has taken all of the students' desks. Not one student answered her correctly. At the end of the day, she said, none of you have been able to answer what gives you the right, what you have done to earn the right to sit at a desk. She said, now, I will show you. She opened the door to her classroom, and 27 U.S. veterans, all in uniform, walked into that classroom, each of them carrying a school desk. They set the school desks in line, and then they stood up near the wall. By the time the last soldier had placed the desk in place, perhaps those children, those students, started to understand just how the right to sit at a school desk and learn was earned. The teacher, Miss Cothran, said, you didn't earn the right to sit at a desk, but these heroes here earned that right for you. They placed the desks here for you. Now it's up to you to sit at them. It's your responsibility to learn, to be good students, to be good citizens. They paid the price so that you could have the freedom to get an education. Don't ever forget it. By the way, that is a true story. Thank you for the honor and privilege of being here today. I am Doug Anderson. I'm here before you today simply as a grateful American. Grateful that you and others have given me that proverbial desk to live in America and make a living as an entertainer. Every year since 1954, November 11th has been dedicated to you American veterans. We honor all of you brave men and women who, by your service and sacrifice, have preserved our freedoms. From fighting back the Japanese expansion to slowing the Taliban aggression, you brave men and women have a proud and honorable legacy. Sadly, today there will be many people who won't even realize it's Veterans Day until they walk up to the locked door of their local bank or try to mail a letter at the post office. But we should never forget. Because without you honorable men and women, there would be no America as we know it. Had you not stopped Hitler, we'd all be speaking German. Had you not stopped the Imperial Japanese Army, I would be saying arigato instead of thank you for your service. Whenever I see a serviceman or woman, I make it a point to take the time to sincerely say thank you for your service. However, those 5 simple words can't begin to share our collective gratitude that we all feel toward each and every one of you, who in your own way took on protecting our nation from foreign aggression and threats. Since our nation began, we have been blessed with an unbroken chain of patriots, much like yourselves, who have always come forward to serve. Whenever America has come under attack, you and the families that you leave behind were at the ready, sacrificing to protect that which we hold dear: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We remember those of you assembled here and others who have donned our country's uniforms. Including that list of distinguished patriots is my grandfather, Claude Anderson. Grandpa Anderson had one of the most important jobs in the U.S. Army. He was a cook. Those of you that are not in an agreement understand what I mean. My brother, Harold Skelton, who was a proud fighting member of the United States Marines. my brother-in-law, Mike Teal, who realized the importance of his duty to our nation while serving as a cryptographer in our nation's Air Force. My father-in-law, Paul Roberts, who at age 19 was tasked with guarding prisoners of war in Germany during World War II. I love hearing Paul tell about the freezing cold in the guard towers, how he got a prisoner to throw him a brick of heating coal. Watching Paul remember back on those days as he relates a particular story or memory, I can easily see the well-earned pride this life-altering time had for a simple teenage farmer from Grove, Oklahoma. And each and every one of you, I'm sure, has similar stories of valor, bravery under fire, and a shared profound respect for the nation you served so selflessly. The day we know and celebrate today is Veterans Day, which was originally called Armistice Day. It was created at the end of World War I to honor the servicemen who gave their lives in the cause of freedom. This was to be a day of hope that they had not given their lives in vain in the war to end all wars. As you well know, the key to a lasting peace is eternal vigilance. You know that it's vigilance, not complacency, that is the key to peace. Sadly, leaders at that time forgot this lesson, and within a score of years, our brave men were once again asked to go and fight for the cause of freedom. In his book titled Why England Slept, a young John F. Kennedy wrote his conclusion as to why England didn't rearm herself in time to stop Hitler's aggression. Kennedy wrote as his reason, it was due to a firm and widely held conviction that it was armaments was the primary cause for war. A lot of people believe that. So complacent were we here in the U.S. that it took the provocative act in Pearl Harbor to wake our nation from its stupor and realize that a strong military fighting force comprised of patriots like yourselves that is necessary in maintaining a credible deterrent. In this era of state-sponsored terrorism and the proliferation of much more dangerous weapons, it is important to remember while our goal is peace, peace is achieved through a stable balance of forces. And the backbone of our fighting forces are those of you we honor here today. You, the brave veterans of the United States military. President Calvin Coolidge said, the nation which forgets its defenders will be itself forgotten. With that warning in mind, we civilians should always remember and honor you and your fellow soldiers. You put your personal lives on hold and served, giving the rest of us the opportunity to flourish in peace. Yesterday at First Baptist Church of Grove, they had a ceremony honoring our veterans. Grove veteran Jim Hausman shared with us his observation concerning wounded veterans that not all scars are visible on the outside. Regardless of any physical wounds, many of our fine servicemen and women come home with the emotional scars. You can see it manifested in changed personalities, sleepless nights, and jumpiness at loud, unexpected noises. Sadly, many of our veterans unable to cope are living life on the streets of America.
Really, people? Really?
Homeless veterans in America? How could this happen? These veterans, too, like yourselves, should never be forgotten nor forsaken. Our nation should dedicate itself to getting them and all of our veterans the help that is needed. I consider it our sacred duty to never forget them and the rest of you who did your part to protect our freedom and our independence. President Abraham Lincoln said, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up our nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow, and for his orphan, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace amongst ourselves and with all nations. It is fitting then that on this anniversary of a day set forth back in 1954, we pour out our grateful hearts to all of you who have served us with honor and valor. As we leave here today to head over for lunch, having learned of your sacrifices for our freedoms, we will remember our commitment to peace, so you and those of you who have served in defense of our freedom will not have sacrificed in vain. It is our duty to be there for you, to honor you, as you, through your sacrifices, have honored all of us. We should never take for granted those of you who most deserve our gratitude, because no one who fights for our country should ever be forgotten. That is our obligation, a sacred obligation to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Doug. We appreciate that. And now, as we do every